What if one of the most important messages for our divided world today was actually written more than 100 years ago? Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the work of the English novelist M Forster, whose powerful plea for human connection, well, it feels more urgent right now than ever before.
It really all boils down to just these two simple words: only connect. This phrase, it's not just a line from a book, it was the absolute heart of everything Forster wrote. But what did he actually mean by it? Connect what? To whom? Well, to get it, you first have to understand the world he was pushing back against.
So let's start there, with the man versus the age he lived in. To really grasp Forster's message, we have to look at what he was fighting. See, his novels weren't just stories. They were a powerful critique of the rigid, almost suffocating society that he saw all around him.
So this is our guy, Edward Morgan Forster. His life spanned this period of just immense, incredible change. But his focus as a writer, it stayed amazingly consistent. You could almost say he was obsessed with the invisible walls that we put up, the barriers of class, of culture, and even our own private fears that keep us from ever really truly knowing each other.
You have to picture the world he was writing in, Edwardian England. It was a society with these brutally strict, unspoken rules. Your social class could literally define your entire life. The social conventions were stifling. Individuality was often seen as a problem, a threat even. And for a lot of people, the idea of real personal freedom was, frankly, a little terrifying. This was the system he was taking aim at.
So how exactly did Forster critique this world? Well, he basically used his novels like a doctor uses a diagnostic tool, examining the very specific barriers that stopped people from seeing one another as people.
And you see this perfectly in his absolute masterpiece, Howard's End. The whole novel basically pits two families against each other. On one side, you have the Schlegels. They live for art, ideas, the inner life. And on the other, you have the Wilcoxes. They're all about business, capitalism, the outer world of material success. And the whole book asks this one crucial question: can these two worlds, these two ways of being, ever truly connect?
Then he takes the same idea and just blows it up on a global scale in A Passage to India. Here, the divide isn't just about class. It's this vast, gaping chasm between the British colonial rulers and the Indian population. The book dives deep into the cultural misunderstandings, the power dynamics, the tensions that make real friendship feel almost impossible. It makes that question of connection even harder to answer.
Okay, so after laying out the problem of disconnection so clearly, Forster then offers up his solution. And it's a mandate that brings us right back to those two crucial words we started with: only connect.
So, what does it really mean? Only connect is Forster's entire philosophy in a nutshell. It's a call to action. It's about bridging these massive divides, whether it's class, culture, or just our own personal fears, by using empathy. It's about connecting the world of ideas with the world of action, our inner selves with our outer lives, to forge a life that is whole, that is authentic. We see a perfect example of someone going on this journey in A Room with a View. The main character, Lucy Honeychurch, follows these exact steps. She escapes stuffy, repressive England for vibrant, passionate Italy. Then she's forced to choose between the passionate but wrong guy, George, and the conventional, proper guy, Cecil. And in the end, she finds the courage to reject what society expects of her and finally connect with her own true feelings. But Forster's commitment to this idea of connection, it went even further. It went into territory so personal and so controversial for the time that he actually kept his most daring work hidden for his entire life.
I mean, can you imagine that? Writing something you believe is deeply important, a story the world needs to hear, but knowing that the world you live in simply is not ready for it. That was the reality for Forster with one very special novel.
This timeline tells a fascinating story. You see his major, famous works all published in the early 20th century. But then, look at this. Maurice. It was written way back around 1913, but it wasn't published until 1971, a year after he died. So why the massive 50-plus year gap?
Well, here's why. Maurice was completely groundbreaking. It was a story about homosexual love that actually had a happy ending. Now, at a time when pretty much all literary depictions of gay characters were tragic, Forster insisted on giving his characters hope. It was the ultimate expression of his philosophy, that authentic connection and love, they should win out over societal repression, no matter what form that love takes.
So in the end, Forster's legacy is crystal clear. Whether he was writing about class or colonialism or personal identity, his focus was always on, as this quote says, the messy,
complicated but absolutely essential business of human relationships. He was a true champion for empathy and, above all, for connection.
Which, brings us right back to now. Forster was writing about the big divisions of his day: class, empire, social rules. But when you look at our world, with all of our own deep political, social, and even digital divides, his central question feels more important than ever. What are the walls that stop us from connecting today, and how on earth do we even begin to tear them down?